Hello, this is Mrs. Patterson's Homework Help, and today we are on Chapter 6, Lesson 8, and we are still dealing with division. Some of the things that we've had with Common Core are some different ways of dividing rather than your traditional long division. So I want to get you used to those ideas, understand kind of what's going on. If you're more comfortable doing long division to solve those problems, you can do that, but you do need to have an understanding of how division works, and that's what this lesson is dealing with. They're going to talk about using the distributive property and an area model to divide. And they take the question 375 divided by 5. What they've done is they've taken the dividend, and they've broken it up into like expanded form, 375. And this is the area model representing that. So now the second step is to divide each section by 5. So 300 divided by 5 is 60. And we know that because 5 times 6 is 30, and the added 0 makes it 300. 5 goes into 70 14 times, that gives us 70, and 5 goes into 5 one time, which is, then you have the 5. So you know you have 375, it's gone in there, then you add 60, 14, and 1, and your quotient is 75. So, and then they say you can do it traditional way or take the quotient, multiply it by 5, 35, 36, 37, and you know you got the original dividend. Okay? Kind of confusing. Basically, you're just breaking that number up to more evenly divide it, and then you're adding those quotients up. So it's called the distributive property, and it's called the partial products. So you add partial quotients, partial quotients, that's really important. You get several quotients, you add them together, and it gives you the main quotient. All right, so let's look at some of the examples here. We have 639 divided by 3. So let's expand that 639 out to our area model. 600, 30, and 9. Then we divide all of these numbers by 3. Now this is a little easier problem than the example. Now, remember the magic of zeros. 3, how do we get 6? What number do we multiply 3 by to get 6? Let me say it correctly. 2, right? But we have to account for those 2 zeros. So 3 times 200 gives us 600, and we know that 3 goes into 600 200 times. How many times can 3 go into the number 30? Well, we know that because if we know 3 times 10 gives us 30, then we know it goes in there 10 times. And then 9, it goes in there 3 times. These are our partial quotients, so we add those together. 200 plus 10 plus 3 is 213. If we want to double check that, we say, okay, it's 213. If we want to check that, we would take 213 and multiply it by 3 and see if we get the correct answer. We do. Okay? Now, another way we can look at division, and they say use the distributive property or partial quotient. This is basically using partial quotients. And we're chunking the number. We're dividing it by repeatedly taking numbers out. Notice how we keep subtracting numbers. That's seeing how many times 3 can go into 762, and we just keep taking that away until we have nothing more to subtract. For instance, okay, they have 3 into 762. I know I can't evenly get 3 into 7, but I can get 3 into 6. And how many times? Well, 200. Because 3 times 2 is 6, and then I account for the 2 zeros. So I know I have 200 so far. So I've subtract 600 from 762, and now I have 162 left. Now they show me taking away 150. Why? Well, what does 3 multiply with to get us 15? 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and then we account for that 0, so we know 3 times 50 is 150. We take that out, subtract it, and then all we have is left is 12. And we know 3 goes into 12 4 times, and so our answer is 200 plus 50 plus 4. Our answer is 254. And if you want to make sure, you can double check that. 254 times 3, 15, 16, and 6, 7, 762. Okay, we got the original dividend, so we know we're correct. Go ahead and try these two problems here. And why is it helpful to use partial quotients when dividing? Why is this helpful? And we've done repeated subtraction with division. This is basically the same thing, but just on a bigger scale. So why would this be helpful or useful? Even if you don't think it is, figure out a way of why you might want to use this method. Okay, our bonus question today is 362 divided by 3. I don't care what method you get to do this, but do it by hand, not using a calculator. Divide 362 by 3.